Namaskar, myself Pratik. In this session, we are going to discuss uses and applications of trigger. Let us start this session. There are multiple uses of database triggers. Triggers can be used to drive column values automatically. It can be used to enforce complex integrity constraints. Triggers can be used to enforce complex business rules. We can use triggers to customize complex security authorizations. We can also use triggers to maintain replicated tables. Triggers can also be used to perform audit data modifications. All these are different uses of database triggers. At this moment, it may appear complex to you to understand these uses of database triggers. But as we proceed with this section, we will gradually discuss each of these uses of database triggers. So the objective of this section on database trigger is to discuss and implement all these concepts with the use of database triggers one by one. In coming video sessions, we will discuss the implementation and usage of these concepts. Let us consider some examples of triggers. Primary key constraint can be considered as an application of a database trigger. For example, when we apply a primary key constraint on a column, Oracle automatically created a trigger to enforce this constraint. For example, let us consider this insert statement. The statement is insert into imp values 1 Ram Professor 1 lakh 10. Here 1 is the imp number. And let us suppose imp number is the primary key of this table. So when we issue this insert statement, Oracle internally perform two checks. One, Oracle ensure that this E number should not be null. In this case, this is 1, so it clears that particular condition. The second task performed by Oracle is to check the uniqueness of this column E number. So Oracle will internally check the presence or absence of this record in imp table. If this E number is already present in employee table, then this insert statement will raise an error. But if there is no record of imp number 1 in the database, then this insert statement will be allowed. So we can conclude that when we issue this insert statement over imp table, it will query the existing database of employee table. Let's suppose these are the content of imp table. It will query the database for the presence of E number 1 in the table. If this E number 1 is already present in the database, as shown in this case, then this insert statement will not be allowed. In order to implement this, Oracle will internally use a PL/SQL code to check the presence of record for E number 1 in the database. You can understand that Oracle will use something like this: select star into REC from employee where E number equal to 1. If this select into statement return a record, then it will stop the execution of insert statement, else it will allow execution of this insert statement. So my point is this: when we issue this insert statement, Oracle internally execute this code to check the presence or absence of E number 1 record in the database. This code, which is issued by Oracle internally during the execution of this insert statement, can be considered as a trigger. Of course, this is not the exact code. It has been oversimplified here to make you understand this concept. So when a user issue this insert statement over employee table, Oracle internally execute a code automatically to check the presence or absence of E number 1 in the database. The code, which is executed internally by Oracle, without invoking from the user can be considered as a trigger. So the point is this: when we apply a primary key constraint over a column, Oracle internally creates a trigger to ensure the implementation of this constraint. Same way, when we apply a foreign key constraint between employee and department table, then again a automatic trigger will be created to enforce this constraint. Here in employee table, we have column e-number, e-name, job and department number. To ensure the integrity of department number, a master department table has been created with column department number and d-name. This master department table will have all existing departments in the college. Here we have department number 10, 20 and 30 in the master table. This department number of employee table will act as a foreign key, which will refer to the primary key of this master table. Whenever we issue an insert statement over this employee table, it will check the value of department number in the master table. For example, let us consider this insert statement: insert into imp values 6 Ram Professor 1 lakh 10. So here 10 is the department number. In case of foreign key constraint over department number, we have to ensure the validity of this department number. So this department number 10 will be checked in the master table department. If the value is present in the department table, then this insert statement will be allowed. Otherwise, this insert statement will be stopped and error will be returned to the user. In order to ensure this, we have to query the database for presence of department number 10 in the master. So the PL/SQL code to ensure this will be like this: select star into REC from department where department number equal to 10. Here we are inserting a record in imp table, but this will make a query on department table for presence of a record for department number 10 in this table. If record is found, then this insert statement is allowed to execute, else this insert statement will be stopped and error will be returned to the calling environment. So you can see that this is again a oversimplified code to explain you the concept. This PL/SQL code will automatically executed by Oracle whenever we issue this insert statement to enforce the foreign key constraint over department number. So we can conclude that whenever we apply a foreign key constraint, Oracle internally execute a code automatically behind the screen to validate the input department number issued in the insert statement. If the record is found in the master table for input department number, then this insert statement will be allowed to execute. Otherwise, this will return an error message. So we can conclude that whenever we apply a constraint, maybe foreign key constraint, primary key constraint or check constraint, Oracle internally create an automatic trigger to enforce that integrity constraint. In this case, user issue insert statement, but the corresponding code to validate that constraint will automatically invoked by Oracle to ensure integrity of data. So these type of codes which automatically executed by Oracle during execution of insert statement can be considered as trigger, which are created by Oracle internally when we apply an integrity constraint over a column. But of course, we can create our own triggers. In this section, we will learn how to create our own triggers to satisfy our own requirements. Let us discuss some application of triggers. For example, if you wish to enforce a constraint that no update operation should be performed on Sunday on employee table. In order to ensure this, we have to create our own trigger. Let's suppose you wish to enforce that record of job title CEO should not be removed from the table employee. Now, in order to implement this, we have to write our own trigger. Let us consider a case where you wish to enforce that when you update employee table, its corresponding backup table should also be updated automatically. In this, user will issue update command on employee table, and we wish that when we make changes in this employee table, its corresponding backup table should automatically get updated. For this, again we have to write our own trigger. Let us consider this example of customer table having column customer number, meter number, previous reading, current reading, units and bill amount. In this case, we wish that during insertion, user will only supply the value of customer number, meter number, previous reading and current reading, while the value of units and bill amount will be calculated automatically and it will be inserted along with the values supplied by the customer. It means customer will supply the value of 4 columns. The value of 2 columns will be calculated automatically and insert statement will insert the values in 6 columns in the database. The 4 values for column customer number, meter number, previous reading and current reading will be supplied by the user. The value of units and bill amount will be calculated by trigger, and trigger will insert a record with the values of all these 6 columns in the database. We can perform all these tasks with the use of triggers. In this section, we will write the code of all these applications one by one, and we will learn how we can write the code for such kind of applications by using triggers. This is all about this session. To read more about this, you can refer my book, Simplified Approach to DBMS, which is available on Amazon platform. You are requested to subscribe this YouTube channel to receive latest video tutorials on topics like data mining, machine learning, DBMS, big data, NoSQL and many more. To learn SQL in a simplified way, you can join this free online course on SQL, which is available at Udemy platform. I have also authored books on data mining and data warehousing, NoSQL, Beginning with SQL and PLSQL for beginners. All these books are available on Amazon platform. To read more about this, you can refer my website prateekbhatia.com. Thanks for watching this video.